Welcome back to the Sports Edge. We're going to talk a little Super Bowl. All right, look out your window earlier this week. How'd you like that to be Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, like 12 feet of snow. Whose idea was this?
Well, it's the NFL's idea. This is the way they reward teams for getting brand new stadiums, and they're rewarding, the Jets and Giants.
It's two West Coast teams that are going to play in the East Coast Stadium.
Well, the Super Bowl is predetermined
I understand that.
well ahead.
So
it's not who's playing in it so much as where it is. So, John, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl being played like?
I don't care if it's in Miami. I don't care if it's in New York, because I'll be working where it's warm and watching it on TV. And if it's neither one, I don't know if I'd want to go. I think it's going to be a nice experiment to see it in New York. I don't know if I'd want to go outside and sit in cold weather and watch a football game when you can be at home watching it. But that's what the NFL promised New York for building that stadium. It will bring money into the city and into New Jersey. And who knows, maybe we'll be surprised. We'll have mild weather and everything will cooperate for the NFL.
The thing that worries me is, what if Roger Goodell doesn't do what Chris Christie says? Will they shut down all the major
George
highways
Washington
going
Bridge.
into there,
Right.
stop mass transit? So Roger Goodell, if you're listening,
Listen to
do
Chris
what
Christie.
Chris Christie says.
Here's my thing. In a way, in a big way, I'm hoping that there is a monster blizzard, just because I think the drama will be fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
And
because you're mean.
Because a little mean. People
Do you like how loose this is? This is great.
People talk about being there at the game and it's cold and it's going to be uncomfortable. The people who are there aren't there because it's a better place to watch the game than at home. They're there because they want to take in the experience of a Super Bowl, and this is going to be unique. This is going to be one of a kind, right? It's the Super Bowl is made for the people who are watching it on television, because there's millions and millions and millions of people watching on television, and that's where the money is made, through the sale to the networks and the advertising. That said, I'm still against it. I'd rather see it in a warm weather place.
Do you think this is a one and done? Do you think they'll just
If this is a big
experiment?
success, you'll see it in Chicago in a couple of years. You'll see it all over the place.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who knows what's going to happen? But we saw some games this year with blinding snow, and they played at night. Walter Camp Football Foundation, I was asking some of the NFL guys, how do you play in that snow? And they just say, you're in it. You don't even feel the cold.
Yeah.
I guess that's true, but I don't want to sit in the stands and watch
Football is played in cities around the country. Many of those cities are in cold weather place. They get a lot of snow. And so they have to play through the elements. And that's the people who like this, that's their argument. This is football. This is football is about, is playing in the elements. And I like that when when Chicago has a home game scheduled, and when the New York Giants have a home game scheduled. But when you could take a game and determine it well in advance and say, this is where the Super Bowl is going to be played, regardless of who's in it, why wouldn't you pick a place that the weather is not going to affect the outcome of the game?
But look at Miami a few years ago.
Well,
4 years ago,
there was
torrential
rain.
downpours for the Colts against the Saints.
It seems like we started this just a second ago because we're having so much fun with it, but we've run out of our time here on television.
I do like the halftime, though. Bruno Mars is going to be awesome.
Red Hot Chili Peppers
And
will be
Red
on
Hot
too.
Chili
And I
Peppers,
promise we're not going to talk about Bruno Mars as we move on to sportsedge.com. We've run out of time here on Sports Edge on TV. Stick around. We'll be right back with more on the TV show. Now here on sportsedge.com, here's where the NFL could really lose on this. What happens if they get forecasts, and we all know how that goes with the forecast, right? But if they get forecasts of a monstrous storm coming in that's going to cripple transportation, what do? They've already put backup plans in for this, that the game could be moved from Sunday to Saturday, or it could be moved back to Monday or
That's a
Tuesday.
mess,
Which is a huge problem right
That's
there.
a huge
Huge
problem.
problem.
The
Yeah.
work week.
Hotel
problem.
rooms, all that
Or
stuff.
possibly delay it another week into
That's
the next
even
Sunday.
more ridiculous.
How do you think NBC is going to feel about that when they have the Olympics?
Well, at
Well,
that
if it
point,
draws money, they'll feel just fine. Because do you know what you pay for?
But it won't
for
draw
a-
money because
a half
they.
second.
No, that's the
30
point. They
seconds?
won't draw money because they've got the Olympics and they've got the Super Bowl. And so now, anyway, there's a chance that this could create really bad economic problems for the NFL.
Well, I guess we'll see, won't we?
Well, yeah. So overall, are you in favor of it or against it?
I'm for it.
You
I think
like
it's
it?
great. Yeah, why not? You play the NFC Championship sometimes 2 weeks beforehand in freezing cold temperatures, maybe in Green Bay or wherever, Chicago.
But those are not neutral sites.
But still, what's the difference? The fans are going to show up.
yeah, people will show up. You pay the money for the tickets. You're going to show up. You're not going to get the same experience, though, like if you're going to a regular NFL game. The tailgating is limited there, so
There's
you
no
can't drive
tailgating.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there's
can't drive
none,
in.
yeah.
You can't set up. You can't have your friends with you. So wherever you're going to party beforehand, because a lot of people like to do that before the games, you're going to have to make alternate plans. So part of that experience is going to be limited. I think it's okay. Let's give it a shot, see what happens. We might be surprised, but I would rather see it, out in California and Arizona, or down in Miami or New Orleans in a dome somewhere like that.
Right.
Good for the Northeast if it's a shot in the arm financially. I mean, good
Yeah.
for them. I mean, they're already talking about shutting down Times Square and making this big thoroughfare and
Right.
doing all of this stuff
Yeah.
around it. So good for them, but I want to see it in a warm climate.
And there was one local business, he was excited, a limo driver anticipates to make about $250,000,
Yeah.
from, driving people in and out. So for those people, it's great.
Absolutely.
So good for them.
I want to see them make money. I just want to see them have to try through a really bad snowstorm because I think it'll make for great drama.
But some of about the economy, though, some of the things I was reading about that, like hotel rooms have quadrupled in price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny part, they're saying the myth about the financial impact, all the people who are working in those hotels, their hourly wages aren't quadrupling. The people who are going to get those money are shareholders who live out of state and the corporations themselves.
That's
so
a
how much is
surprise.
New Jersey going to really benefit from this? We'll see.
Right.
All right.
That's a small business owner, I guess. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in here on SportsEdge.com, where it's always a party.